Hello and welcome to Tuesday Lunch Break Live, where I share simple, applicable tips that you can incorporate immediately to help you live your healthiest and happiest life. Today's topic, I'm super excited to share with you guys. This is 3 things that my absolute most successful clients do. And I'm also going to share an opportunity with you so that you can actually learn how to do this and a special thing that I'm going to offer. So, my name is Kim Clinkenbeard. I have helped people over the last 30 years gain back their health and confidence and reach their goals through fitness and nutrition. And today I help women 40 and over transform their minds and bodies through my programs. So if you are watching, hi Jenny, I see you're watching. If you're watching, say hello to me in the comments. And I want you guys to really quickly guess what you think one of the things is that my most successful clients do. And I'll give you a hint. It has nothing to do with exercise and it has nothing to do with food. But if you will put in the comments one of the things that you think that they do really quickly, I would love to know what your guesses are. So let's get to it. So the first thing my most successful clients do is they write down their number one fear. Now, fear is closely related, if not exactly, what your limiting beliefs are, what holds you back. Now, if you don't really nail it down and write it down, then you might actually be thinking that one of the byproducts of fear is what's holding you back or tripping you up. So, for instance, what I mean by that is fear is a byproduct of fear, rather, is procrastination. So you might think that procrastinating is what your issue is when it is actually a product of fear. So is comparison. Comparison is another product of fear. So it's really important that you just take a couple minutes and sit down and think, what exactly am I afraid of? And this is what my most successful clients do. And I help them go down that little rabbit hole and figure out exactly what the root fear is. Are they afraid of success? Are they afraid of failing? Are they afraid that, is their identity attached to something that they're trying to change and they're afraid they're not going to be who they perceive themselves to be, or more importantly, who others, a lot of times their family and closest friends, perceive them to be. If I am not this person, and let's just take an example, this isn't related to any particular client, but if I am not overweight, who am I in this group of people? And so, or an athlete, if I am not a football player, who am I to that? So, not that being a football player is bad, but sometimes if we're trying to make a change in our life, we need to identify with what the fears are that are holding us back. So write them down and take a minute to really dig deep and figure out what the core root fear is that keeps tripping you up. Second thing. Before I move on from that, and here's the reason. It's because awareness is the first step to change. If you're unaware of what's holding you back or tripping you up or what is keeping you from reaching your goal, your fear, then you can't work on it. So until you really understand what that is and write it down and nail it down, then you can't have any effective change. You don't even know what to change or where to start, okay? So the second thing is not only do they write down their goals, but they approach writing down their goals as the things that they want in their lives. So it's not just, I want to be healthy. That's just a very general goal. They write down specifically what their goals are that gives them what they want their life to be. So, yes, I want to lose 20 pounds. Okay, but what do you want in your life? You want to be lighter, but why? And what exactly is that goal? But that's not where they stop. And that's not where I hold their hand and take them down. But not only do they write down what their goals are, but they have to write down the perceived obstacles that are going to keep them from reaching and achieving that goal. And what I mean by that, if we're working in a 10-week period, some of these things are tangible. Like I have a wedding someone's having a baby, I'm going on vacation, there's a holiday, something like that is a tangible thing that they know. It's a specific date, an event that they know is going to come up during the time that we're working together towards that goal. Those are great. Those we can plan for. And so we'll get that information from them, and we'll write that obstacle down, and then we'll have a plan for that. We'll adjust how we're going to approach going into that event, how we're going to work through it, and what we're going to do afterwards. So that is something we can definitely plan for, because without a plan, you plan to fail, right? So we want to know what the obstacles are, but there's also intangible perceived obstacles that we need to address. And those are things that maybe you have found yourself doing in the past, and that has held you back from finishing, completing, or doing as well as you wanted to in a program for whatever goal. And this can be, obviously, I'm talking about health and wellness and weight loss and those things, but it can also be in education, your schooling, or a job, or anything like that. So you can apply this in many facets of life. But what is a perceived obstacle? Do you get nervous around people? Do you get pressured by your peers to maybe get off track of your nutrition plan or skip that workout? Maybe it's yourself, you trip yourself up. You have some self-sabotaging behaviors that seem to always pop up on a specific week or a specific time of year, or those kinds of things. And I help you go down that process to perceive those obstacles that may come up, imagined or real, like an event or something that has happened in the past or you think might happen in the future. And then you take the time to actually write those down. And then we go through this process of how to eliminate those and plan for those and set yourself up for success and be able to work through those obstacles before they come up, so that you've got a plan, so that there's something that you can do and they won't trip you up, derail you, and completely, keep you from reaching your goal and finishing out. Okay, and the third thing, moving on, is I have my clients write down their expectations. So, two things: expectations of the program and what their outcomes should be, and expectations of themselves and how they're going to work the program and finish the program. Huge importance here. Why? Because if you have all these unrealistic expectations floating around in your head, it's important to get it down on paper, because your brain is not going to recognize what those are. So you don't communicate with a dog or animals with a poster. I mean, they're not going to read this sign behind me, right? You're going to communicate with them with emotions. And so your mammalian brain, that is responsible for behavior change, is through emotion. It doesn't read language, so you're not communicating. So having all these thoughts in your head is not going to get you to a realistic expectation. And we've probably all done this. I've got an event coming up and I need to lose 30 pounds in 2 weeks. Well, I mean, come on. That's not going to happen. Or if it does, you're not going to feel good and you're probably not going to make the event. Anyway, so it was for naught. But if you write down what your expectations are, the conscious part of your brain that does recognize language will see that and will immediately register whether that is a realistic, good expectation or absurd and completely unrealistic. I mean, you probably won't even have to finish writing it down before your brain goes, that's ridiculous. That's never going to happen. I can't do that. I'm never eating sugar again. I'm just going to eliminate sugar, or this is one of my favorites. I'm never going to eat anything white. So flour, sugar, all the things that are white, right? So that's a rule that I've had some people come to me with. I'm just never going to eat anything white again. Well, okay, you might be able to do that for a little bit, but we all know that's absurd. It's unrealistic. It's not lifestyle. It's not going to serve you long term. It's not even healthy. So writing them down gives the brain the information it needs to immediately and very quickly recognize whether your expectation, which will either set you up to succeed or fail. If unmet expectations makes for a miserable life and failure after failure after failure. So you need to have manageable, realistic expectations of yourself, others and your program, and that will set you up to be able to not only meet those, but succeed and reach your goals. So writing it down gives you immediately confirmation whether or not those are ridiculous and absurd and unrealistic, or if it's something that is good and sound and realistic and that you can do. And that's where I come in to help you also maybe fine tune all of this just a little bit and really get this nailed down in the beginning phases so that when you do hit the messy middle, and I think it was last week's video or the week before, we talked about how to work through the messy middle and how to plan for that. So when you do get to the messy middle, this is part of that plan. There's some work and strategy in the beginning. And then you get into the, nitty gritty of it all so that you succeed in the end. And that's really what a coach's goal is, hopefully. It's what my goal is for you, is to make this something that you can succeed in doing. So this is the first step. Write down your fears and why you're afraid of it, because awareness is the beginning of change. Write down your goals and any perceived obstacles, tangible and intangible, that might come up. And then write down your expectations and make sure they're realistic expectations. Those are the three things my most successful clients always do, and it carries them through the program and gets them over the hump when it starts getting hard. So, next thing, if you want to really have someone hold your hand and take you through this and make sure you're doing it right and get you all the way to the end of the process so that it can actually benefit you, I am holding the probably most important and life-changing information workshop that I'm ever doing, this week in my Women's Transformation Program. It's Mind and Body Transformation for Women. If you are not in this program, you need to be in this program if you're a woman 40 to 65. Call me, send me a private message, text me, email me, however you have contact with me, and get in here. Thursday evening, I'm going to teach this session on mindset, and it's related to this, but it goes way deeper into it and how to do it and how to really make some serious mindset shifts and behavior modifications. So if you're not a part of this program, this is your time. Don't wait. Don't let fear hold you back from being successful and getting the results in the life that you really want and deserve and have been fighting to get for years and maybe even decades. What you've been doing, if you're trying to go this alone and you've been trying to go it alone for a long, long time, it's obviously not working. So it's time to make a change. And I understand they're making changes, even if it's for your better and for your good, is super duper scary. This has been a year of change for me. It's been a big step out and break away from fear for myself as well. And I will share some of that in this masterclass that I'm going to do on Thursday. And how I've gone about that and why and what it was and a little bit about my experience there. But it's time to step out. Take courage, right? God gives us a spirit of courage, not of timidity and fear, but of spirit of courage, so that we can move through these things with Him and with help from others He places in our lives. So if you were going to achieve your goals on your own that you've been trying to do for years or decades, you would have done it by now. So it's time to recruit some help, and that's great. And that's why God gave us community, so that we can recruit help where we need it. But join us in this masterclass. Holler at me before Thursday. Do it today, because I've got calls scheduled all week long. So we want to make sure you get in if you really want to and you think it's going to benefit you. So call me. Let's set that up. If you have questions, I would love to see them and hear them. If you have comments or there's topics you want me to discuss in these little mindset videos on Tuesdays at 12:30, put them in the comments. I want to hear from you and interact with you. Obviously, if you found something valuable or useful, or you thought of a friend that might find it valuable or useful, please hit the like and share button for me. That gives Facebook some information that allows my videos to go out to more people. Turn on your notifications. That makes sure that you see when I go live. And I certainly appreciate you guys watching me. I appreciate the time that you give me on Tuesdays. And I hope to see you guys Thursday if you're interested. So thanks a lot. Talk to y'all later. Bye.